Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank the International Christian University here in Tokyo, and in particular Professor Eckhard Hitzer, for organizing this event and for inviting me to make the opening address. I am also happy to note the participation of Mr. Guðni A. Jóhannesson, the Director General of the Icelandic Energy Authority, and I would also like to thank the organizers for inviting him to this venue. Iceland and Japan have just celebrated the 60th anniversary of the establishment of political relations between our two countries. I therefore think it's appropriate to use that important milestone to reflect on our long-standing friendship and our common goals for the future. Our nations may be distant neighbors, yet they are like-minded and share many characteristics. We are islanders with seafaring traditions and strong cultural identities, marked by centuries of isolation. Our nations are regularly reminded of the forces of nature, such as frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. And we also appreciate soaking and relaxing in hot natural baths. That common appreciation may be one of the reasons for the good health and high longevity of our nations. Japan has been an important and long-standing trading partner for decades. Today, Japan is our most important export market in Asia, and the future prospects are great. We have a long history of shared values and regard Japan among one of our strongest global partners. Our political ties have never been as strong, which is reflected in bilateral ministerial visits and increased international cooperation in various sectors. The establishment of a new Japanese embassy in Reykjavik with a resident ambassador only 4 years ago is a good example of that. We have also developed close relations in the fields of education and student exchanges. Our people are fascinated by each other's cultures, with Japanese being the second most popular foreign language taught at the University of Iceland after English. Iceland's economic progress and well-being has for centuries been shaped by the natural riches and climatic conditions in the north. For that reason, we share an interest in the favorable development of the Arctic. Icelanders have a reason to be proud of their achievements since gaining sovereignty in 1918 and full independence in 1944. We moved from being one of the poorest countries of Europe at the beginning of the 20th century to being among the most affluential ones and leaders in the UN Development Index. Central to our development has been our natural resources in the sea and underground. It has always been a priority to make practical use of these resources to the best of our ability. We have been successful in utilizing our abundant geothermal and hydroelectric energy to the benefit of our people and to the economy. A key factor in this positive development has been our investment in new geothermal power plants, producing electricity and hot water. In the past 50 years, we have built 7 new geothermal power plants, and the 8th will become operational later this year. The total production capacity of these 8 plants will be more than 800 kilowatts. The geothermal resource in Iceland is mostly used for house heating, greenhouse farming, fish farming, and for leisure such as swimming pools and sport facilities. Geothermal greenhouse is an important factor in our agriculture. Half of the greenhouses are used for the growing of vegetables such as tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, and the other half is used to grow cut flowers such as roses and potted plants. Some of these products are exported to neighboring countries. I'm sure that you did not imagine Iceland as an exporter of roses, tomatoes, and cucumbers. It is important to note that almost all of the geothermal turbines used at these plants in Iceland are state-of-the-art turbines made in Japan by companies such as Mitsubishi Hitachi Power Systems, Toshiba, and Fuji Electric. The oldest of these machines is still going strong after being in full operation for almost half a century. The quality and endurance of this machinery reflects the craftsmanship of their Japanese producers. These three large multinational companies are world leaders in the production of geothermal turbines, and it is also important to note that their engineers have very much looked at the Icelandic experience, how their machinery has functioned in Iceland when further developing and improving current technologies and capabilities. Iceland is, of course, not the only customer of these large companies. More recent buyers are energy companies in developing countries such as Indonesia, the Philippines, Chile, China, and Kenya. Icelandic engineers and geothermal experts are often affiliated with sustainable energy projects in third countries in close collaboration with the producers of state-of-the-art geothermal turbines from Japan and Japanese development agencies. The initial cost of investing in such a new geothermal power plant is quite high in the beginning, but then it must be realized that the system will more or less run itself with little maintenance for decades, benefiting the local communities with cheap electricity and plenty of hot water. These investments have been important for rural areas in Iceland and have revitalized many rural communities. The benefits of using geothermal energy to the environment and for the economy of Iceland are tremendous. In 2015, it is estimated that Iceland's total economic benefit from using geothermal instead of imported oil and gas was equal to approximately 6% of Icelandic gross domestic produce last year, or that is equivalent to approximately 120 billion Japanese yen. And this is, of course, an important annual benefit for the people of Iceland. Today, 96% of the energy used in Iceland is green and sustainable. We are also proud to host the UN University's Geothermal Training Program in Iceland, and we have done that since 1979. More than 650 students from 60 developing countries have graduated from that program during this time. It should be noted that the headquarters of the UNU is here in Tokyo, and Japan is a generous financial contributor to this important UN activity. 3 other UNU programs are also hosted in Iceland. Last but not least, I would like to emphasize that Iceland and Japan have also been strengthening their collaboration in the field of geothermal energy. Japan is now looking at new ways to integrate renewables into its energy market, something that presents both challenges and rich opportunities. Iceland and Japan will be close partners in this endeavor, as we have a common duty to address climate change by means of promoting clean energy and initiatives toward a clean energy transformation around the globe. We believe that Japan can draw an important lesson from the Icelandic experience in utilizing geothermal resources. I am confident that our debate here at this conference will be an important step in that direction. Thank you so much for your attention, and I wish you all the best and success today. Thank you so much.